Alright ladies and gents, welcome to the video. I am, as always, GetGoodGuy, that hasn't changed, and we're on Battlefield 5 once again today, yes, on a bit of a streak with it, for my sins. But Battlefield 5 has a lag problem. However, is it what you think, or is it something completely different, or is it multifaceted? Well, today I'm going to explain all of that to you after doing a little bit of research. But very quickly, before we get into that, a massive, huge, gigantic shout out to B2KD for becoming my latest patron, because I don't push Patreon in my videos really at all. I just show the board of awesome at the end because it feels a bit cringy to talk about too much. So when someone new signs up, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, dude. You're an absolute hero. And if we could give him some, pats on the balls in the comment section, that'd be great. Thank you. But to the point at hand, let me know in the comments what you think of the lag situation in the game currently. I'd really like to get some feedback on this one, because at first I wasn't convinced. Even a few days ago, I didn't really think it was a problem particularly. I said in a recent video that we didn't have any sizable bugs at the minute affecting the game, but that some people were still complaining about netcode and such like. Well, the issue may be larger than I thought for the netcode, because I've started to see more and more people talking about it. Like, a lot of people. For some examples, Danny on PC, who I know won't mind me using his stuff, he made his feelings known, showing that a squad with a high ping, all of them, was able to actually top the board in a game that he played, lending credence to the theory that high ping players can cause serious issues when it comes to the outcome of a gunfight. And he also had this image that he just titled Lagger's Paradise. Yep, look at those pings. They are pretty disgusting actually, and they're right up the top of the board. I've also been informed that the Broken Machine has mentioned lag and high ping on stream recently, which wouldn't surprise me at all. Although I haven't personally seen him talking about it, it seems quite likely, and so on and so forth. And as alluded to before, the general player base has become quite vocal about it on Twitter and on forums and all that kind of stuff, showing images such as these of lobbies full of high ping players. There's a few of these, I'll just let these run by. This was all from one person, there's lots more out there from other people, but I couldn't believe how many pings on this were over 100 actually. These are pretty staggering. And I think this was America, maybe West Coast or East Coast, I can't remember, but a highly populated region where you would think this just shouldn't really be happening. Now, it doesn't state whether the high ping is actually high ping or whether it's the pings being displayed incorrectly, and so I wanted to do a bit more research about this to see if I could find out. And that desire really kicked off when I had this gunfight. Going up, killing the guy, and then having his dead body shoot back at me was a bit of a surprise. I'll show it again here in slow motion. Yep, the dude is already in the death animation while he's shooting back at me. That's some pretty insane lag there, some of the worst I've ever seen, I think. And so I really started to pay attention after this. And that also led me to consider if these issues are tied in with time to death problems that people are talking about and unfair gunfights. So I started to check my old footage over, and I unfortunately began to notice clips like this. What I'm using is the ZH-29, it's a 2-shot kill weapon to the body. The clip shows the animation of 2 shots being fired, 2 rounds leaving my inventory, and 2 blood splatter effects to center mass are evident to show that I am hitting the target, but I die rather than win the fight, not even a trade, the second bullet just doesn't count, and I actually found quite a few of these when I was going over my footage. I was slowing things down, keeping in mind how many bullets it takes to kill with those weapons at certain ranges, and finding that people just didn't die and I would die at around that time when I'd expect them to go down. Now, I haven't been paying attention to my old footage throughout the past year or so to check this kind of stuff, but I feel like I've been noticing it a bit more recently, kind of like when the netcode was really bad some time back, and Battle Nonsense did all his tests on it and everything and showed it was screwed up. So yeah, it's not good right now in my opinion. But we need to consider, has there always been a problem to some degree on Battlefield 5? Whether it be worse or better than this, has there always been some kind of problem? And we only really start to notice it en masse when someone brings it up and it starts to spread, the discussions begin. It is possible that that's the case. Bias and such like is always powerful. Echo chambers form, the grass is always greener, all that kind of stuff. Lots of cliches, but that they all apply. However, I truly do wonder if we're in a period of time where the netcode just isn't good right now. But are there other issues affecting this? Let's go through the possibilities that I've thought of. So did the recent update or the update previous to this one cause this problem? Was there a knock-on effect? Did changing something alter something else? Has something else changed behind the scenes that we're not aware of? These are all possibilities. We only tend to find these things out after, of course. And sometimes DICE obviously don't know about them until the problem actually hits. Game development is very complex, so we have to keep that in mind. But are some people just playing on the wrong servers? Is that causing part of the issue? It would be weird if that stepped up recently, but the problem could no doubt be helped if people stuck to their own regions more so where possible, or just knew how to ascertain what's a low ping server, what's a high ping server, and realize that there are different servers all over the world with a different connection to them. But leading on from that, are players being forced into the wrong servers due to a lack of players in their region? And are some players being forced into the wrong servers via using the quick search menus, possibly because of a similar reason, there not being enough players in the regions they're in, etc., all that kind of stuff? How much can we really mitigate the problem if these things are happening? Well, we can to a certain degree, but there are obviously elements that we have no power over. Or, potentially most importantly, not because it's the biggest cause of this issue, but because it probably shouldn't be an issue on this scale anyway, are players choosing to use servers on other continents to avoid cheating in their regions, such as on Asian servers. We know this is a massive issue at the minute. An anti-cheat needs to be in place, and of course people aren't going to play on Asian servers if they're tired of getting killed by hackers all the time. It's pretty obvious. I feel like tweets such as this one, from just a player out there in the world somewhere, perfectly encapsulates the problem. People don't want to have to switch to other continent servers and play on a really high ping just because they don't want to play in their own servers because the cheating is so bad there. Fixing one problem can help the other one. And really, it has been too long we've been dealing with the hacking on PC in the game. It may be somewhat overblown by some people, it may not be as bad in some regions as some people believe, but trust me, the problem is rife in some places. I've seen the clips. It's pretty awful. Getting a handle on that would help the rest of the game as well. There are knock-on effects. So yes, an anti-cheat would help. Would ping limits help? I've seen that suggested a lot. Well, yes, absolutely, but then, would some players be unable to find servers if they play in less populated regions on a game that, let's be realistic, isn't the most popular in the world right now? And would that be fair? Probably not. If they pay for the game, they want to play the game, they need to have the opportunity to play. These are all just knock-on effects of the game having not been very well run, of it not being very popular, of PR being bad, of there not being anti-cheat, of ping being poor. I could go on. You see what I'm saying? So what can you do to mitigate this issue yourself? Well, try to avoid you having a high ping at least when it's possible. Use the server browser when it's appropriate. If you aren't trying to play a specific playlist and instead just want to try playing a certain mode, yep, use that server browser and filter it so you can play on the lowest ping servers for your experience. If you do have a high ping though, or you're playing against lots of people with high pings, then really all you can do when you're actually playing the game is slow down and be more passive. Take only really advantageous positions and fights if you don't want to be punished all the time. Don't go super mega Rambo. And there's also something to be said for using fast firing weapons in that circumstance. It gives you a greater chance of recovering from shots not hitting due to netcode and lag. If you use a slower firing or low ammo count weapon, you're likely to be punished more so due to not having the means to follow up the shots that didn't connect. Other than that, I guess it's just deal with it and I guess hope for the best. Try to enjoy the game regardless, and I bid you good luck. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it's helpful and informative. If it was either of those things, hitting the like button means a huge amount for me. Thank you very much. Let me know in the comments what you think. That's a big thing. Let's get some feedback down there about lag, netcode, hit detection, anti-cheat, all that kind of stuff. Subscribe if you're new here. I got so much content coming out at the minute, and I really appreciate all the new people joining us currently. And all the links to my social media, including Patreon, are in the description and my pinned comment. Here is the board of awesome for the epic people who already support the channel on Patreon. They're all absolute heroes and love them all deeply and of course often. If you want to join them on the board of awesome, the link to the Patreon page is in the description and my pinned comment. And with that all said, I'm GetGoodGuy and I'll see you next time. Laters. I gotta fill these 10 seconds, otherwise YouTube won't let me make any money on it. So I'm filling 10 seconds by saying nothing. Hey, how you doing? It's gonna be great. Alright, see you next time. I'm Get Good. Love you. Bye 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 bye. That was really weird. Oh, actually, I just realised that's shorter than necessary. Look, I mean, I have to extend it. There's no point me doing the whole video and then just not really getting paid for it. You know what I mean? I'm sure you understand. Let's stretch this out. A few more seconds. Pigs make bacon. Crispy bacon. Bye. And then horizontal recoil at the same time is often mitigated by using specializations. So if there's a gun out there that I feel bounces too much to the left and or right, I'll generally put on specializations to reduce that. Whereas guns that seem to be fairly stable from a horizontal recoil perspective, I instead generally would choose specializations that benefit me in other ways,